Hello. Hi, everybody. How we feeling today? Okay, hello. Oh, I'm so happy you enjoyed your reading. How are we feeling today? Guiding Tarot, welcome in the room. Melanie Sunshine, hello. Why can't you be witchy and not love God? Exactly. I love that you brought that up. Okay, so while you're all flooding into the room, I want to talk about why I decided to do this series and why I think this is going to be a continuing series. So a lot of my clients in my private containers have referred to my riffing when I get on a subject, whether it's spiritual, witchcraft, business, whatever it is, visibility, not caring about the trolls, whatever it is. It's like witchy church. And I absolutely loved that. And so I opened it up to you all to see if this is something that you wanted to be interested in, right? I put like a box on my stories, and my God, are you guys interested in this? There were so many ideas that you wanted to expand on when it comes to being spiritual, to being witchy, to being in a spiritual business, relationship stuff. There was so much. I didn't realize how much the collective needed this. And one of the questions was, can you be spiritual? Can you be witchy and still love Jesus and still believe in God and believe in Jesus? And as somebody pointed out earlier, why can't you? Well, of course, that's what I would think initially, but this person asked the question because they're not sure if they can, which let me know that there are a lot of people wondering this same exact thing. How can I have both? And so a lot of this conversation is channeled conversation, right? Like I'm just in deep channel. And so I'm going to go where I wasn't planning on going. I was planning on going elsewhere, but I'm being called to go over here. This is all about conditioning at its deepest level, right? America, Western religion, it's monotheistic. It's one God. And so we have been taught and we have been bred that this way is the only way. You go to church on Sundays. Sometimes you do extra days depending on your denomination of Christianity. You believe in the Bible. You say your prayers at night. And if you do anything else, well, then God's not in love with you. It doesn't work that way. And so I think what the spiritual community is working on doing, and I think we're doing a really good job of it, is working to reverse engineer some of this very deep level of conditioning. We all have different levels of conditioning, right? When it comes to our bodies, when it comes to what we believe in, when it comes to how we choose love and our lovers, when it comes to how much money we think we can make or can't make, we all have different levels of conditioning. Some of us are going to be in different parameters than others, right? I'm Black. My level of conditioning is going to look different than somebody who's white, right? It doesn't mean that either one has more or less levels of conditioning. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And so when it comes to being spiritual, being witchy, being a healer, being a mystic versus being a religious, the reason why one would think that these two things cannot work together is because somebody told you that. That's it. And so we can choose differently. I'm sure you've heard of the term, we create our own reality. I'm sure you've heard of that. We do. And in my reality, not only do I believe in God, I am closer to God than I've ever been in my entire life. And I've created this deep, deep soul connection, soul alignment with God's source universe through my witchcraft, through my spell work, through ancestral magic, through my sage, through the elements. Because if God created all this earth, if God created fire, if God created air that we breathe, if God created water, and we're utilizing all of these things in our spiritual practice, would one not become closer to God's source universe? And I like that somebody just brought up they were attracted to witchy stuff. That's another thing too. If you are attracted to spiritual work, to witchy stuff, to, spell work, to astrology, to any of it, you have to ask yourself what's calling you. That's the one thing that I talk about very often. You wouldn't be in this if you weren't attracted to this. It's like, for example, I don't watch sports, at all. They're not for me. So, why would I sit and watch a football game? Do you know what I mean? So if you're one of those folks here on the live or watching the replay, and you like watching those tarot YouTube videos and stuff like that, you may even have a deck that you barely have really touched, and you're kind of like, I was always told that this is the devil's work. By the way, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. That's what a lot of people don't realize. I've got 2 Bibles in my home. I've got the King James Version. That was my uncle's before he passed. So I work with that Bible with ancestral magic and something called bibliomancy. And then I've got a New World Translation. I've got 2 Bibles in my home. So do I have an ancestral altar? My altar changes. So it depends on what I'm working with. So I have made ancestral altars before. But it changes. But to each his own. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong way. And so to go back, can you be spiritual and still love God? Of course you can. You can have your own relationship with God, a deeper relationship with God, and still be spiritual and still be witchy, right? Now, I'm not speaking for all the witches, okay? I'm going to say that right now. Anything that we talk about during witchy church, these are my personal opinions, okay? I do my best to talk about a community of healers and mystics that have been doing this work for a very long time that is now kind of being blasted open because of this show. But I do speak for myself. And so for me personally, I do believe in God, but I believe in God in a different way than Western religion teaches us to believe in God. Okay. Just because Western religion has said something doesn't, God is limitless. Exactly. Thank you, Ola Nancy. Just because Western religion says something doesn't make it right. We all have the right to believe in what we want to believe in. And I highly suggest that you study. My friends, when I left the Kingdom Hall, when I decided to not practice being a Jehovah's Witness anymore, I studied a lot of different religions. And I read a lot of different books. And I worked a lot with spirit, right? I would go hiking barefoot, like all of that stuff to decide who I was in relation to God's source universe and what that meant for me on my journey. And, people have different feelings about Jehovah's Witnesses. I can only speak to my experience. I'll say growing up as a Jehovah's Witness taught me the Bible very well, very, very well. And that's what I'll say as far as that goes. Yeah, I do believe God is in all of us. I believe, links in my bio to get a reading. I'm booking out into May right now. But I do believe God is in all of us. I also believe God is an experience, right? I believe we create God experiences, and we create experiences that are without God, we have to remember, right? This earth, this world, it's dual. Okay. This is a dual plane that we live in. As above, so below, the first rule of witchcraft. You cannot have one without the other. Very important to remember. You cannot know hate if you don't know love. You cannot know up if you don't know down. You cannot know black if you don't know white. It's one of the fundamental rules of this earth. So you can have God experiences and polarity, exactly. You can have God experiences and then non-God experiences as well. Okay? Are they devil? Are they Diablo? Bitch, I don't know. I don't, like, here's what I'm saying when it comes to that. I don't enjoy the idea of purposely placing negativity in my realm. I think like begets like. And I think when we lead with love, we call in more love experiences. And I believe that love is the highest frequency that we can hold, okay? The highest one. And so when we are acting in love, we are acting as close to God as we can. So I don't really place a lot of energy focusing on the devil or devil's work or evil, even in the world. Does evil exist? Of course it does. Of course it does. I think the bigger thing is, what can you do today to spread more love? Because it's a ripple effect. It's a waterfall effect, right? What can you do today to be in an even higher frequency of love? Because what you do, if you are radiating love energy, everybody that comes in contact with you is going to pick up on that energy. We all have energetic frequencies. We all have energetic signatures. Every single one of us. This is exactly how Reiki works. Okay? There's actually, I got to put my Amazon storefront up, but there's a really good book on my Amazon storefront that goes really, really deep into energy work and our energetic signatures around us and our auric fields and all of that. I'll put it up right after this so you guys can go take a look. But anyways, I don't put a lot of energy in focusing in evil and dark stuff. It's not what I want to do. And what is so funny and so interesting while we're on this topic is one thing that I've gotten asked a lot, is like, dark stuff. Do I do dark things? Do I practice dark things? I want you all to see, when I was talking earlier about conditioning, where your conditioning is. Why would one think that I practice dark or evil things because I'm a witch? Why would one think that? Because of their conditioning, because of what they've been told. You have been told what a witch is supposed to be. You have been told what a witch is supposed to look like. You've been told what a witch is supposed to do. Through authority figures, through media, through even stories. But what if we gave a different definition? Think about how many things we were told just to find out we're not true or we're incorrect. I immediately think about being a woman of color. And back when like racism was horrific and segregation was a thing. How many things were little white kids told about black people that weren't true? How many things were you told in your life that wasn't fucking true? Columbus? They don't even do Columbus anymore in schools. I literally grew up learning about Columbus. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. They left out the part that Columbus was horrific and did a lot of fucking damage. Just because you're told something doesn't make it true. Just because you may be told that you can't practice witchcraft and still be in love with the Lord doesn't make it true. No, I didn't grow up knowing about Juneteenth. That's another thing. Didn't grow up knowing about Juneteenth. That's a whole nother subject. But so I really want you all to kind of understand that we can create our own definitions around things should we choose to. And I totally know that there are cultures that have a lot of negative stigma around spell work and witchcraft and things like that. I'm very, 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 very aware of that. I want you to know that. I'm specifically talking about American culture, and I'm talking about the word witch and how we see it today in 2024. That's what I'm talking about. And one thing I also want to know is, like, we hang on to this word witch, right? But, like, really, what does that even mean? I'm a healer. I'm a mystic. I'm a channel. I'm a seer. I'm an Akashic Records reader. I'm a spiritual business mentor. I'm a spin instructor. Like, I'm a lot of things. I'm a lot of things. I'm a wife. I'm a child. I'm a mother and a father. So we hang on to verbiage and we hang on to words as if we are defined by them. And that's all we are. We become quite one-dimensional, right? Link is in the bio to book an appointment. But exactly, we're fractals of it all. There's no part of you, my friend, that is one-dimensional. There's no part of you that is two-dimensional or even three-dimensional. You're a multi-dimensional being, okay? You're a multi-dimensional being. Please know that. We are layered. We are all fucking onions. Every single one of us. And so my goal here with this witchy church is to help all of us see the world for what it is. It's much bigger than you think. It's much bigger than you realize. You know, and let me check in the chat and see what the hell's going on with you guys. Just like we are fractals of source, we are supposed to learn all these different things. Please learn. It's the Sagittarius in me. I am a learner. I love to learn. I could be a forever student. I would love to be a forever student. And when you learn exactly not just how many religions are out there, but how many different versions of spirituality are out there and how many different versions of witchcraft are out there, that's one thing too. I'm not a Wiccan. Wiccan is religious. Okay, so there's a difference. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. When you see how many different versions are out there, and then when you go deep into the mythology of all these different areas, right, of study, it's all the same shit. The fucking creation story in the Bible is one that has been told on fucking repeat. Why? You must ask yourself that. Why are we seeing the same stories all over across many different religions and many different areas of spirituality? Why? Because we're all motherfucking stardust. And we are all connected. And so we must lead with love. We must. It is your duty to lead with love. Why? Because love begets more love. That's why. And if we are truly looking to create a world that is nonviolent, where we're not fucking going to war, where our politicians aren't fucking crooked and fucked up, where we're not finding more and more celebrities that are involved in certain things, right? If we're really trying to create that sort of world, how do we do it? It starts with you. That's what happens. It starts with you. What are you doing in your daily to lead with more love? That's truly what it starts with. And the reason why I say that, so my undergrad is in biology. Shout out SUNY ESF. I studied conservation biology. And I remember in my senior year, this feeling of being really small. I had studied for 4 years. I traveled all over. And I studied the inner workings of conservation issues and the law. And I realized that there is so much work that needs to be done to preserve our earth, but there's so many people in power that are doing the opposite. And I remember in my senior year just feeling incredibly small, like what can little old me do? They're cutting down this, they're doing that. I could go all day about this. And so I took some time off and I came to this realization. This is just before I started my business, Starseed Shadows, that like it starts with me. Period. It starts with the work that I do and the people that I affect, and hoping that the imprint that I make creates a ripple effect among all the people around me. And then that creates a ripple effect around them, and that creates a ripple effect around them. And so one thing that I'm truly thankful for is there have been conversations that have been opened up around what does a witch mean really anyway? Who can and can't be a witch? Where does religion play a role in this? Are you spiritual? Are you witchy? Are you both? What do you do with that sage? How do you work with crystals? Like, people are having these conversations in their homes with their parents and their loved ones that they haven't had before, around being open to more, around being open to an even better quality of life and an even better connection with God's source universe. As I said before, if a witch is working with the elements, and most spiritual people do, they work with all four of the elements, right? Fire, water, earth, air, and spirit, counting the fifth one. Wouldn't that automatically bring you closer to God? Think about grounding. That's a spiritual practice. If you don't know what grounding is, it's walking barefoot, like in the ground, and allowing that connection with Pachamama Earth at the bottom of your feet. It's really good for anxiety. It's really good for balancing. It's good for a bunch of stuff. Look it up if you've never heard of it. Grounding is really great for you. But even when I'm grounding, I feel closer to God. Oh yeah, right, Earth Day. I love it. It's true. Look at that. I do tapping. I practice tapping in my private containers with my clients, and I do tapping on my own. Yeah. But yeah, witchy church. I have a list of topics that I'll be pulling from, but needed the tools from the school to help you get there. And then I'll put in another question box. Same, I'm a junior major. I'm a junior biology major. I don't know, it just feels like I'm supposed to be doing something bigger. That's what that was for. Yeah. I see that a lot. I feel that a lot. And I have also felt that way too. That idea of like, I should be doing something bigger than what I'm doing. Complacency is a crutch. You always want to be moving towards something, being even more expansive, getting even bigger. If you are feeling, anybody listening, like you aren't doing enough or you should be doing something bigger, I would really urge you to meditate on your calling. I would urge you to meditate on, if you feel like you should be doing something bigger, what is it? No rules, only energy. A mentor would say that to me. No rules, only energy. And it essentially means, like, don't think about what you're supposed to be doing. Going back to that conditioning conversation, you know, being an entrepreneur, I could never be an entrepreneur. That's not what my family does. There's no entrepreneurs in my family. I could never do that. Why? It's conditioning. It's all conditioning. I could never make X amount of dollars. I could never drive that car. I could never have a kid. I'm not supposed to be a mother or a father. It's all conditioning. I could never date that person. That person would never date me. I could never dye my hair. Think about how you limit yourself and the way that you speak to yourself, and how you limit other people, because we are mirrors of one another. So the limitations that you place on other people, aka judgments, is really a reflection of self. And inside of those judgments, you will find your conditioning. And you will find where the shadow work needs to be. Oh, my Uncle Tim came on. Hi, Uncle Tim. You're still here. Love attracts love, just like hate. We have to understand that. It's so true, my friends. Like, we attract, first of all, we attract what we think we are. If you're somebody who like continues to attract, for example, toxic relationship is a perfect example, right? Like, I continue to attract the same fuckboys. Why do they keep coming in my universe? I continue to attract the same fuckboys. What the fuck? Why? What is happening here? What about this relationship are you repeating? It's cyclical. Everything in the world is cyclical. It's all cyclical. I'm tangenting a little bit right now, but I'm being called to go here. Everything is cyclical. And so we can break cycles, but we have to see them first. And most of us don't want to see patterns and cycles that are not doing us any good because they make us feel safe in some way. Does that make sense? So, nighttime eating. That's a good one. We all like to munch at night, or a lot of us do. Let's say you're on a weight loss journey and you know you should not be eating those Oreos. Oreos used to be my shit. You know, they still kind of are my shit. Double stuffed Oreos. Oh my God, girl, stop. I know we're real though. Anyways, you know that you should not be fucking with those Oreos at like 11 o'clock at night just before you go to bed. But every night you do it. You do it like clockwork. And you know it's time to stop. And so like maybe you stop for one night, maybe you even stop for 2 nights, but then you go back to it. It's a cycle. It's a pattern. And you're not breaking it even though it's not healthy for you because there's comfort in those motherfucking Oreos. Now take those Oreos and make it a bigger example. Apply it to your life, right? The amount of money you make, the job that you hate. That's a big one, right? The job that you hate. Everybody's working a job they hate or living paycheck to paycheck, whatever fuck else other goddamn excuse they're giving each other and themselves. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off harsh, but it's true. We make excuses for ourselves to stay and stuck because it's easier that way versus making a move. Because when you make a move, you've got to stick to the move. And when you make a move, it might be fucking hard. And it might be a little off-putting, so you just don't make the move. That's why everybody stays at the job that they hate. Oh my God, the late night snacks. Yeah, no, harsh reality. Definitely harsh reality. And so I am here to do these just to help myself and everybody here right now or watching the replay that we can choose differently. That's the point. We can choose differently every fucking day. Every day is another opportunity to choose differently. If you don't like something, choose differently. If you believe in Jesus, which I do believe in Jesus, but I do believe Jesus and God are separate beings, personally. But then like, what a separation. I'm tangenting. But my point being, if you believe in Jesus, but you also have a tarot deck, okay, you're not going to go to hell, honey. You're just not. I could talk to you guys all day about that too. And, you know, for whoever I offend, I don't care. An all-loving God will not make a fiery pit of doom for you to burn eternally. Sorry, not sorry. Stagnation is hell. That's another thing too. I love that you brought that up. That's how I've chosen to believe in hell, quote unquote. It can be a state of mind. It can be a way of life. It can be the repetition of a cycle that is absolutely horrible for you. But God is love. Nancy, I keep picking up your comments. I'm vibing with you, girl. But God is love. You know what I mean? And I think we must remember that. God is not going to damn me to hell because I have an altar and I burn sage. Like, God's not going to do that. I want you all to really just think about where your thoughts, your beliefs, and your opinions come from. And are they truly yours? Witchy Church is a wrap, people. This was episode 1. Thank you so much for coming. I hope this resonated. I will be saving this. And I will also put in another question box in case there's more topics. Like we're not going to run out. I'm going to keep doing this as long as y'all want me to keep doing this. And just, thank you. Thank you for being a part of my universe. I really appreciate it. And if you do want to book, the link is in the bio, and give me a few minutes. I'll put my Amazon storefront up. It's ready. I just have to put it in my link in bio, and you can go check out that book. It's literally underneath the books tabs, and you'll see it. It's the energy workbook that I was talking about. If anybody's interested in learning more on how our energetic frequencies and energetic signatures work. Happy Monday. Moon Day! Hello, friends. I hope you loved today's episode. Make sure you share it with a friend, share it with somebody that you love, and tag me on the gram at AshleyMichelle90day and let me know your thoughts. Leaving that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify is literally what helps this work get to the right people. As you may or may not know, we are in the middle of a spiritual revolution, and us being able to get our hands on resources like this podcast and others is what is literally going to make the world go round. So do me this favor and please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share the episode with somebody you love. It really, truly does mean the world to me. I love you so very much, and I will see you in the next one.